going on? What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to a special edition of The Room, where having a healthy mind is priority. Not gonna waste too much of your time, man. I know my usual schedule is every Sunday at 1 o'clock, but today is a special day, man. Shout out to all my Virgos. Today is September 9th. It's my birthday, man. Dirty 30, that big 3-0, yeah, I mean, like, you know? I know. Before we even continue, trust me, I know, and I understand. Really? 30? You're turning 30? I know. I still, still look 21, man. Still look 21. No gray hairs, I trimmed it down a little bit so it's not, you feel me? But no gray hairs. I know I rarely show my hair nowadays. Still got a full, healthy head full of hair. So, not too many things to complain about, man. But I understand, I look in the mirror and I'm like, wow, 30? Let me cut all the jokes out, man. Listen, today is a special day, not just because it's my birthday, because in all actuality, the way I operate with birthdays is just another day. I'm appreciative, I'm grateful, for being alive, for having the things that I have, for doing the things that I've been able to do, for accomplishing the things that I've been able to accomplish. It's another day, man. This year is different. 2020, besides just all the bullshit and the craziness going on, is especially different for me in a good way. Without further ado, man, I'm gonna just jump straight into it. We gonna Michael Phelps this thing, as my brother Lade would say. All right, so 2 reasons why I wanted to make this video. First reason is because a lot of people keep asking me, and the same reoccurring question: what made you want to create this type of content for your YouTube channel? Why? What's the difference now between as far as your headspace? Where are you now versus where you were then? Just why the room? Why mental health? Why is having a healthy mental this important to you? Just why? So that's the number 1 reason. Number 2 reason is because, like I stated, today is a special day for me in particular. Today is September 9th. It's my 30th birthday, and it means different because I am alive. I'm breathing. I'm on YouTube with this show. I have a podcast. We're gonna get into all of that, but that's the basis of it. So let's start with the whys, right? The whys lean into the whole 30 thing. So why? We're gonna go back to 2017. I was working on, I released a solo project titled September. It was my first shot at just making introspective music, being super personal music, talking about the death of my grandparents and how it affected me, how I seen it affect my mother, depression, and how it's just been affecting me my whole life, and just me dealing with every aspect of that. September, the album, was like my real shot at just saying, for lack of a better term, just fuck all of the gimmicky shit that people expect, the things that people want to hear, and just giving it your all on a personal level. That was my first shot, September. So my whole thought process with that was, I've dealt with depression my whole life, damn near my whole life, as well as anxiety. Now, when you talk about depression, people have depressing years, they have depressing moments. 2020 is a fucking depressing year. Excuse my language, but it's a very depressing year. So, but I'm not talking about in the terms of that. I'm talking about in terms of just being wired different in the brain, and things affecting you differently versus the way it would affect someone else. So that's something that I've been dealing with my whole life. But in 2017, the reason why I worked hard on that September album is because that was supposed to be like my final release, in a sense of, this weight is off my shoulders. Now I'm finally putting like my real truth, and not just the on the surface truth, but the real, just nitty gritty, knee deep truth into the music. And I could see now that I went about it in the wrong way. Instead of going about it in the terms of what this can do to help people, I went into it 100% selfish. Now, don't get me wrong, it's okay to go into things with some form of selfishness, but with the particular album September, I went into it 100% selfish, and it wasn't really a thought of what this information can do to help people. It was really about me. It was really about finally just letting this out and not holding it in. And what I thought it would do for me, it didn't. And I think mainly is because of my reasons behind it. One thing I heard that resonates now more than ever is just because you're doing something that you think has a great purpose behind it, if you're not mentally ready, then the result that you think or even want to happen is not gonna happen. And that's where I was, by you know, creating this personal music and speaking about certain things that I never spoke about before. The way my thought process going into it was, you know, I'm gonna finally let this out. I'm not gonna be holding it in anymore, and I'm gonna be good. It'll be the start of my healing process to like properly heal. But that didn't really happen. The music was received well. Shout out to Smiles. If you watched the previous episode, I met her in 2017, and she heard the music from that album and asked me to perform at her events, Express Your Love. Shout out to Vita, who has a benefit concert that she does every single year called Seize the Cure. Her and her son both have epilepsy. Her son has it, like just a very, very severe version of it. So that's the whole reason why she put that all together. And they heard the music from this album and, you know, asked me to perform at these events because, or at least to me, because of the personal references in the music and the content. You know what I'm talking about. So the music, which I'm super grateful for, like the music was received well, but for me, I still felt the same. It was still a lot of personal bullshit going on that I still won't get into detail just because it doesn't only involve me. So I don't really want to put, you know, other people's information on here, but just a lot of bullshit. And when that didn't happen, I started running away in a sense. So from 2017, me putting out that project didn't happen. I decided to do a deluxe version of the album, and I think I added like 3 new songs and a few remixes. And I'm thinking, you know, maybe this will work. You know, maybe me getting excited to add more music on it. Maybe me getting excited to have a project on Apple Music, Tidal, Spotify, and all those platforms. You know, that's what I'm thinking. So September, the album was out, and I decided to revamp it, add a few new songs, do some remixes, and we gonna call it the deluxe album and put it up on iTunes. Through that whole process, I'm still feeling the same, still dealing with the same demons, still fighting the same fight, still feeling those things. So fast forward, I'm working on the Lovers Playlist album. Well, this was also in 2017 of me working on the Lovers Playlist album, but when it was released in 2018, and September Reloaded was released earlier that year. So I just want to make sure, you know, I get the timeline right. But in 2017 is when like my struggle with depression just started to get overwhelming. And like I said, I put the album together thinking this release would be good, you know, I'll be straight. Didn't happen. Worked on the deluxe album, still didn't happen. Met Lena, who's an incredible artist who really did get me excited, and I love the whole process of working on that album. And a lot of that album is my real like personal experiences. I just like to put things in the storyline, but that whole album is, you know, 100% factual if you really understand the storyline from beginning to end and not just pick out individual songs. But I did that. I guess running away, same thing. And even though I love the process, it was super fun. I love conversing back and forth with Lena, just bouncing ideas and doing that. Still was not feeling no change. Was feeling the same thing. And in the middle of recording that album, like I said, it came out in 2018, but we were recording it probably like the end to beginning of 2017. The end of 2017 to the beginning of 2018 is when we were recording it, and that's when anger like really started to kick in. And anger kicked in because I told myself I was just going, be raw with it, no cuts, no edits. The anger like really got crazy because suicidal thoughts was just, it was just getting overwhelming. That's the best way I could that's the best thing I could say, like, to really describe it. Like, it was just getting overwhelming. Just the thought of not wanting to be here anymore. The thought of feeling like everyone else was better off with me not here. Like, those thoughts was just getting very overwhelming. And I don't like to feel like a victim. I don't like sympathy. I don't really know how to react to it. I don't know how to receive it. It's just not something that I like, and not to get off topic, but that's why, I constantly repeat in the fact that I'm not an expert, and telling you guys that, it's all a journey, it's all a process. And I might be on the journey. I might have been on the journey a little longer than most, and I might have been, further along in the process than most, but it doesn't mean I'm any better. It just means I'm able to take a moment, turn around and give the next person the necessary information they may need so they can continue to stay on, that path that they want to stay on of being fully mentally healthy. And yeah, so I keep a lot in. I guess, a lot of people would say I'm like the most closed, open person. And what that means is, I could sit down and have a conversation with someone, and it tends to turn into some kind of, therapy, conversation, therapy session, if you will. And, when you're having a genuine conversation with someone, and if you have an experience that's relatable and can help the situation that's being talked about or topic, of course you engage in a conversation and you guys trade experiences, you trade stories. So in that instance, and a lot of people, few people would say that they know me, but I still kind of just give information that's needed in the moment, and kind of keep everything else, to me, and just kind of work it out the way I know how. And I know that's one of the most unhealthy things, which is something that pushed me along this journey to even, have to understand what having a healthy mental was, and really work towards creating that full healthy mental. So yeah, back to what I was saying. Suicidal thoughts, super overwhelming. For lack of a better term, I was just too pussy to hurt myself in that way. But being that the thoughts was overwhelming, and I was getting so angry because I was even having those thoughts, and too pussy to to do that to myself, which I don't think is pussy. I think for you to not hurt yourself is the bravest thing that you can possibly do, because I can relate, and I know exactly how it feels to have those thoughts. So anyone out there who is struggling with that, don't think of yourself as pussy or anything lesser than because you can't fall through with it. That just means that subconsciously you know that your purpose is here, and you're the one holding you back from doing that act, which is a brave thing, man. And anyone having those thoughts and going through that, I will put a hotline down below, that way you guys can reach out and speak to someone. And I'll also still have my email down there in case you want to reach out to me and trade experiences, trade stories, and we help each other in that manner. So I just wanted to say that. But yeah, so I couldn't really do that, but I would purposely get into fights after work or before work, in hopes that the other person hurt me that bad to where I'm not here anymore. And that lasted from the ending of 2017 up until the beginning, the beginning of 2019. And no one really knew about it. If I came up, with a scratch or bruise somewhere, or felt a little sore, I would just ignore it. Somebody asked about it or mentioned it, I would just ignore it. Something that I'm not proud of, because a lot of them fights could have been, not even could have, a lot of them fights should have been avoided. I started the majority of them. It would start from something as small as a accidental bump or someone raising their voice, and like I said, just me being overwhelmed with those thoughts, being mad at the fact that I'm having those thoughts, and then basically trying to find somebody else to do what I couldn't. I'm not proud of it at all. If I knew any of the individuals' names or even knew where to find them, honestly, right now at this place in my life, I definitely would apologize, and I want to apologize right now, on camera, and say that. And this has nothing to do with being soft or anything that most people within a certain environment would think, but it was just wrong completely, man. If you know me, you know me. If you don't, then I'll leave you to your assumptions, but just wasn't right. Not only did I go into the fights with the wrong reasons, just period. I should have never gotten into those fights at all. It was a way for me to release my anger, and like I said, me putting work, so to speak, in somebody else's hands. And that's where I was in life. I was in a dark place, and that happened from the end of 2017 to the beginning of 2019, until a last incident happened, and it changed my perspective, because got into a fight last year, the beginning of last year, and I didn't want to die, but I wanted the other person to. Like I said, once again, not happy about it. Hopefully this stays in, because a big part of me wants to, chop a lot of this out. But I told myself, I just, this is something that you have to do. You have to let it out. And that's what really happened. Those were the things that were going on, mixed with a whole other, a whole slew of fucking personal bullshit that's not being handled, not being taken care of, and it was just a lot. So I had, a incident, a last fight, and the thought of me wanting that person to hurt me to the point of me not being here wasn't even in my brain at all. It was me wanting to hurt that person to the point to where they're not here. I didn't like the feeling of that thought. I didn't like the feeling of feeling like you can do that. And in the moment, I kind of snapped. Not out of it, but snapped into it in a sense. And walked away from everything without ever looking back. Walked away from the fight, and just walked away from just that whole feeling of being angry and wanting to hurt. I just walked away from it. Sadly, still personal things were still, super overwhelming, and it contributed to a lot, man. I would say it also contributed to me eventually being let go from, the job that I was at. But I don't regret anything, because it brought me up to this point. Being that I didn't like that feeling, I didn't like what it made me do. I didn't like the thought process. I just didn't like it at all. It was super exhausting. I figured I can come on this channel and document my process and talk about, you know, just the research that I've been doing and things that I do in general to help me along the way can also benefit and help someone on the other side of this. So that's another big part of this video. The fact that not only am I alive to live on my 30th birthday and experience it, but the fact that I want to be alive and I'm here. Not a victim, not doing this for sympathy. Doing this simply to let you guys know that we're all human. Everybody go through things, man. Appreciate y'all for stepping into the room. A special episode, if you will, of The Room, where having a healthy mind is priority, man. Just like I say in every other video, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Hopefully you guys learn from this and, you know, grab onto the important points and learn from even the negative points. It's a journey, it's a process, it's a lot of work, but as long as you stay dedicated, everything you want in life will happen. It might not happen when you want it to happen, but understand it will happen when it's supposed to happen, man. I appreciate y'all. I go by the name of Desmond Bonet. Let's see what shenanigans is gonna happen today, man.